This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. VI Governor Albert Bryan Jr. is calling for the Justice Department to open an investigation into sexual assault allegations made against a VI senator, while the 34th legislature is calling on him to resign. Several women have come forward and accused Senator Stephen Payne of sexual abuse. 14 senators met Thursday in an emergency meeting after reports of a third woman coming forward and accusing Payne of sexual abuse. This latest allegation allegedly happening when the woman was a minor. Now, while the legislature says Senator Payne has a presumption of innocence right now and due process, in a letter to Payne, they say the allegations are serious enough that he should step down. The letter said, in part, "We strongly urge you to immediately resign as senator at large to protect the integrity of the institution in which you serve, the constituents to whom you represent, and to handle the extremely serious allegations published against you." Meantime, Governor Bryan is calling on Attorney General Denise George to investigate these allegations a woman made, claiming Payne sexually assaulted her when she was a minor. In a statement, the governor said the allegations are serious and disturbing and warrant immediate action. He's also encouraging anyone who has been a victim of any type of improper sexual behavior, harassment, or abuse by an authority figure to come forward and report it. Next week, the USVI travel portal will be discontinued. It is a requirement under the administration's current executive order aimed at curbing the spread of COVID-19, but many found it somewhat frustrating. So effective Tuesday, May 31st, the executive order will be amended by striking the travel restrictions and operations portion, removing the requirement for the U.S. Virgin Islands screening portal for all domestic travel to and from the U.S. mainland. So the territory is transitioning to the open door phase of the response to the COVID-19 pandemic right now. While the requirement will be a thing of the past come next week on the 31st, the state of emergency for the Virgin Islands remains in effect. Hardwood superstar Alia Boston is about to get a celebration day, all to recognize her success. The Office of the Governor and Sports, Parks, and Recreation are hosting an Alia Boston Day hometown celebration next week. Next Saturday, June 4th, they will unveil a sign at King Airport for the NCAA women's basketball star, who of course hails from St. Thomas. They'll also have a parade down Veterans Drive and a ceremony at the waterfront promenade. The national champion helped lead the South Carolina Gamecocks to a national championship this year, and she'll also hold basketball champs for female basketball players while she's visiting in the Virgin Islands. She's going to hold camps, rather, for young Virgin Islanders, young women who want to become basketball players, who are currently basketball players. There will be camps upcoming that Alia Boston is going to be hosting. Again, Alia Boston Celebration Day on June 4th is going to start with a sign unveiling at the airport at 10 a.m. Coming up this weekend, as we've reported, best-selling author Minda Hearts is coming to St. Thomas to deliver a keynote address for the graduation ceremony of VI Montessori School and International Academy. Our USVI News' Alia Boston continues her conversation with Minda, who shares more on the message she intends to send to the students and her latest book, You Are More Than Magic.
Segueing a little to your newest book, You Are More Than Magic, how cool is that? I mean, I got to believe that there are, and not just at Montessori, but I mean, the whole world. I mean, you wrote this book. Just like, what advice would you have for aspiring authors who would love to put their message out and really take ownership of their voice and do something like that?
Yeah, you know, when I sat in my high school graduation, Allison, I had no idea that I would ever become an author, right? I was just happy to get to that finish line. But what I realized was all I have to do is start. Like, you don't have to be famous. You don't have to have a number of followers, right? If you have ideas you want to be creative, that you just start writing. One of my favorite authors is Toni Morrison, and she said, write the book you want to read. And every time I've written my books, and just like You Are More Than Magic, I wish that I would have had that book as a teenager. And so I thought about my teenage self and said, what did I need to hear? And I wanted to make sure that they feel supported on how to have difficult conversations. how to eliminate any imposter syndrome right now, right? Don't take that into adulthood with you. And just, oftentimes we feel like we're just inadequate or isolated and don't have enough, and you actually have everything you need inside of you. You just have to believe that. And that's what I did with writing. So I said, I have a voice. I just have to decide how I want to use it. And that's what I would tell the next aspiring author. You have a voice right now. You don't have to wait on permission to start writing.
Amen, sister. Amen. I love it. I love it. And something like that, it's so important. It's so important to say, because like you shared, I mean, we are enough. And how cool is it when we can have that reflected back to us? And we all need that. We all need that at different times. And absolutely. Well, Minda, is there anything else that you would like to share?
Again, I'm just really excited about coming to the Virgin Islands and getting this opportunity to inspire and meet. And, I'm coming there to inspire, but I'm getting ready to put my hands up too, girl, and say I'm ready to receive what's for me, because I know that I'm going to be learning in that process as well.
Lucky for those students to be able to hear from her, for sure. And as we end the week, cases of COVID-19 remain high throughout the territory. According to the latest numbers from the VI Department of Health, there are 960 cases territory-wide, 642 on St. Croix, 263 on St. Thomas, and 55 at last check on St. John. Meantime, new CDC data is shining a spotlight on the growing crisis of mental health issues among the country's youth since the pandemic began. More than 40% of high school students surveyed reported feeling persistently sad and hopeless. As Natalie Brand reports, it's an issue now in focus on Capitol Hill, where there's bipartisan legislation to try to help address youth mental health and suicide prevention.
We were so close in so many ways.
Darlene Terryberry of Henderson, Nevada, lost her beloved granddaughter, Angel, in the fall of 2020.
I wish she had been able to talk so that we would be sitting together today.
The high school senior is one of 30 students within the Clark County School District who died by suicide since the pandemic began.
The pandemic, the online schooling, that isolation was probably a contributing factor.
We want to do everything we can to prevent those deaths.
Senator Jackie Rosen of Nevada and Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska have introduced a bipartisan bill to provide federal funding through the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration to public schools K through 12. Currently, that money is only available for colleges and universities.
And a teacher could be a first line of defense.
Anybody that works in a school should be trained to recognize the signs of distress for the students that would be in their age group at that school.
Oftentimes it is just even knowing that there is an issue there. If a child doesn't feel comfortable sharing this with a parent or another adult,
I really wasn't sure if anything was wrong.
For years, Alaska teen Claire Rainier kept her pain hidden from her family.
It was dark. It was really difficult. I kept doubting my experience. And at the time, I was self-harming.
Rainier, now 19, found healing at the Anchorage-based organization Mental Health Advocacy through storytelling.
It's very cathartic. It's very therapeutic to talk about your feelings and to talk about what you went through.
Rainier hopes the new proposed bill would help fund similar programs in schools nationwide.
If one family, just one, doesn't have to go through the pain and anguish that my family has gone through.
A grandmother's urgent plea for action to honor her granddaughter and help other young people.
Lawmakers have also proposed separate legislation to try and increase the pipeline of mental health counselors in schools. Now to a much lighter story. A 3-year-old girl in England has taken her love for the royals to a whole new level, dressing up as Britain's Queen Elizabeth to help celebrate the monarch's 70 years on the throne. Tina Krause has the story from London.
Little Isla Bates is making the royal rounds as a mini version of Her Majesty, with a signature coat and matching hat, pearls, and even a beloved toy corgi at her side. The 3-year-old is a big fan of Queen Elizabeth, and she's delighting nursing home residents across the country with surprise royal visits.
I thought she was very sweet, and I thought she was very elegant, and I thought she was well trained, yes.
Isla's royal role as mini queen comes as the country prepares to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, marking the monarch's 70 years on the throne.
She loves it. The wave comes out, the straight face, but then she laughs about it.
She's digging deep to emulate the Queen, even planting trees in her honor. One of many royal duties the 96-year-old herself has mastered over the years. This tiny royal is still perfecting her performance and doing her best to stay in character as she charms crowds across the UK.
Oh my gosh, absolutely adorable. I love the little stuffed corgi too. Cute.